destroyed the army. It was called the Great Purge. It's interesting that they're using this word purge as opposed to a review of actions and orders of senior officers that may get letters of counseling or telling them, hey, that is not the policy or will not be the new policy. But they're coming up with this purge of the military. Actually, I really thought it was fake news, and I was hoping it's fake news, because this could destroy one of the most powerful and effective fighting force in the world, feared by all, as we start to purge people out for comments they may have made or made reference to following policies that were passed down to them to execute. So this is very disturbing and a great shakeup in the defense land today.
General Honore, we've seen loyalty as a major theme so far in the nomination process. So are we going to see top officers start to share their politics and other ideals in order to signal that loyalty here?
Well, we valued our stuff as a force, the senior officers in the Army, as being apolitical. I mean, I served for Democratic and Republican presidents, and you get the orders and you execute them as best as you can. But we've got a dichotomy here of this purge and the other one with the nominee for the Secretary of Defense by a leader who avoided coming in the Army by having bone spurs and by saying to his chief of staff that their soldiers were suckers and losers. No wonder we got a recruiting problem. And to address the issue at hand of this purge and the fact of women in the military, this is ridiculous. It is shaking up the community. And I would be surprised if this gentleman survives the Senate. Pete, he has great service. He's a smart guy. But I was surprised he would pass the test in the Senate. And as far as the issue of women in the Army, the Congress is monitoring this very closely. And they've given us instructions. And we have changed rules in the Army on how we deal with a big challenge we had, which was sexual assault. The whole rule has changed, and the investigations are now done by outside investigators. I apologize for that long answer.
No, you covered a lot of ground there, and I can skip some of my questions because I have a lot to get to. For people who say, big deal, why does this matter? Help us understand why the politicization of the military is dangerous.
Well, what will it be next? I mean, we've already saw the politicization of the Supreme Court. We're now witnessing the politicization of the Senate, in that we want to do dispose of the Senate and do out of session appointments, and with a dominant supporters in the House, with a proposed Attorney General that was investigated for sexual assault with minors. I mean, we see our worst fears. The future we feared is here. The impact this could have on the military, and the unknown impact it's had on recruiting, when the former commander-in-chief said soldiers were suckers and losers because they died in combat. Yeah, we've got a recruiting problem, and much of it is becoming from people like Pete sitting as pundits telling the military how lousy we are because we don't do it as well as comparing us with the Russian army, which is just about being destroyed with the weapon system and the great fighting capability of the Ukrainian army. So that's who they were comparing us to. And that is the rhetoric that is now causing discourse among everybody in the Department of Defense that I know.
General Honore, we are in a fire hose of news consumption right now. There is so much happening every given moment, and it's hard to keep track of everything. And certainly all of the topics you just laid out are making a lot of headlines. But is there anything else that you're seeing regarding anything around this topic that gives you concern that's not making the headlines that we should be talking about?
Right now, as we speak, we got thousands of soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marine and Coast Guardmen on watch. They're in the Persian Gulf. They're in Asia. They're in all over the Pacific, deployed as we speak, doing their job, and they're all volunteers. The greatest fighting force in the world and the most capable fighting force in the world is doing their job. They're doing it air, land, and sea. And they're in missile silos where they don't see the light of day for hours upon hours. And they're flying through hurricanes. They're out doing their job as instructed by the president and the Secretary of Defense, who send the orders out to the combatant commanders. They're keeping us safe. This is normal. That's what they need to be focused on. This whole shenanigans here with putting up a sick death that would come from a Fox News pundit with great background in the military. He had several tours deployed overseas as a